And the
podcast
begins with a song of rebellion.
How can this
podcast.
be my life?
CD burners.
When my youngest, he's dealing with emotional regulation right now.
Yeah.
At 5, 6, you're kind of feeling your feelings.
You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. Why do I feel like this? And why
Yeah.
the fuck can I stop it?
Yes.
And why don't you stop it, Dad? Oh, you don't? Well, fuck you. Like, it's like one of those situations. So I'll send him, because I've got my little, just like a in-home studio kind of production check room. And I go find me a song. Like when he starts flipping out, I'm like, yo, go find me a song. And he'll just like, he'll kind of bitch and moan. And I'll go, just please, like, find me it can be a loud song. Find me a loud song when he's mad. Find me a loud song. And he'll go through and, dude, one time he fucking found like, he'll find anything from like Imagine Dragons to fucking Youth of Today.
Yeah.
Because kids just search.
Yeah.
And he can spell and shit now. So
Youth
he's
of
like,
Today, it also is like, I gotta like think about what the covers of these things
true,
look like.
True.
And
True.
so it's like that is...
Yeah, dude on the front going like this, like
Yeah.
all pissed off when you're pissed off.
Yeah.
It's going to appeal to you.
Yeah.
That's actually...
Speaking of pissed off music, we're here today to talk about Glassjaw.
Yeah.
Should we get into it?
Yeah, dude.
Let's see this shit.
I
It's
love
really
it.
good at
I
it.
love it.
Got to keep it on track.
I love it.
You going headphone free?
This is an early one for me.
He's still asleep. He's still sleeping.
I love it.
I'm not asleep. I just had a
He's
really
cozy in his hoodie.
I really had
Just
a
put your
long
back on.
I had a long weekend. I did a lot of
shit.
stuff.
What'd you get into? Or what can you say on camera?
Well, I do. We had emo night on Friday, which is like, man, after 11 years, you're like, I'm going to be like, all right, cool. I'm just going to do the thing. And then dude, it's so much fucking fun. I had a blast.
I love that.
I had a blast. And, I ended up staying like a bunch of people from the electronic, like music space, like came and hung out.
That's awesome.
Back because somebody performed that they're friends with. And then the next day they were like, dude, we're having a jam at our place.
I love it.
Like an EDM jam? Like,
Yeah, like
what do you do with that?
That's what I said. I didn't.
How does that work?
I didn't understand what that meant. And so they've got like Ableton pushes set up. They've got like synths, like analog, like synths with that don't have any.
Are you all going into a DAW? Like, I don't
They
get
are
it.
playing, they're running it out of Ableton, but then they also have like amps and there's somebody playing like fucking drums and then there's like a microphone singing and it's like everybody's just like sitting down. I was figuring out like this analog synth with this other dude who was just in this fucking punk band. It was like it was real, nothing that I normally do.
Yeah, that's
like
cool.
that's like not like a thing that I do.
Sure,
right?
Sure. But like, I mean, should is a word that I try to remove from my vocabulary. But like, we should be.
It was
doing
awesome.
that. Yeah, it's
I gotta say,
amazing.
it's like one of those things. There was like, if I didn't experience that, like, I would be bummed that I didn't.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have. It's frightening to go into something when it's like, oh, these guys they're really good.
They're
really good
sure,
at like
sure.
what they do.
Mhm.
I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, let's just be real. Like, I'm learning this stuff, and to be invited to that is cool. And so, like walking through fears, the emo night, walking through fears. Another thing, I went and saw right after that, I went and saw one of our friends do a release party for their album. But there's a guy there who used to be in a band who I knew that did not like us. He's not in the band anymore. And he put out an album on Friday. And I didn't know.
Solo album.
Yeah, solo album. I didn't know if this guy liked me or not. No idea. I listened to it. It's one of the coolest things I've ever heard in my life. For real. I don't know this guy.
Right.
I know him in passing. We are friendly. I fucking walk in, I see him, and I was like, what's up, dude? Hey, like, whatever.
Yeah.
This is so, like, look at my phone, like, look at what I'm listening to.
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, I like needed to hear that. Like, he's like, I needed to hear that. I didn't know if it was like good. I've got all these fucking fans from like the other band that are like, fuck you, you suck because you're not in that band anymore.
Crazy.
Whatever. Needed to do that. Sunday, what do we have? Dog birthday party.
I love it.
Oh no, I had one of my friends over. She came over. TJ came over, grabbed a bunch of shirts. One of my friends came over, did some music shit. Dog birthday party, AA meeting.
Yeah.
Full weekend.
Massive.
Yeah.
Like a massive weekend for a guy like me. You know what I mean? Like I'm, trying to go to bed in normal
And
hour.
now it's 9 a.m. and we're talking about Glassjaw.
I know. What a time to talk about.
Yeah.
Glassjaw.
What did you do?
What did I do? Oh, I was in Julian, California.
What's in Julian? Where is
apple
that?
pie.
Up?
It's south. It's southeast. So it's like an hour east of San Diego.
Okay.
Yeah, or an hour southeast, something like that. Just a small town. I went with just 3 of my best friends from childhood. Actually, the original drummer of Let Live, who I'm still like brothers with. Him, his wife, and my lady. We just went and what did we do? We ate a lot. Like I felt sick for 48 hours consistently and like kind of perpetuated that sickness through eating. But yeah, it was good. It was good. It was a good time.
What is this place called?
Julian. It's amazing. Yes.
Do you know what this?
It's like a small country town.
That's awesome.
Next to San Diego. It's crazy. And we also went to the Wolf Center. My homegirl works at the Wolf Center, and we got some like special privileges and got to go there at night, and we hear these motherfuckers howling, like actually,
oh my God,
actually howling, which is apparently quite well because you can't go at night typically, so it's really rare to hear. And we one of my homegirls,
was it like sneaking in? Like did it feel like you were? It felt like you were sneaking in.
The
and
groundskeeper, was like not there. You know what I mean? Like it was cool, man. But it's gonna sound silly, but for me, kind of figuring out my life right now and trying to understand the nuances and why everything is beautiful at any given moment, even when it's hard. Like that was a big moment for me where I was like, damn, I'm just sitting here. I can't see shit, but I can hear these wolves howling and it's doing something to me, inside that made me really appreciate just being alive. It sounds
so like primal.
Dude, primal. Yeah. It was.
I've stopped doing I say this all the time to people that I meet lately, especially in like the lecture. I'm like, damn, I know this is going to sound super fucking corny. And then guess what? Every single time they're like, no, this is like kind of how I feel. Yeah. They're like, that's like how, with, the older you get, you're just like, that's not what doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, it really don't.
It's like, I'm like, hell yeah, dude. I'm like, hell yeah. You like connected to the whole thing that you're doing. I'm just like, nothing of it sounds like corny at all.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, that's kind of what I've been on. But that was it. That was this weekend. And then got home last night and fuck, man. I saw a beautiful sunset last night on the beach in Del Mar in San Diego. That was cool. And I started working on some music at the end of the night. And then fucking fell asleep and came here.
Do you just, when you're starting to work on music, what does that look like?
Man, it really could be anything, to be honest. Like when I was first in Let Live, I was pretty orthodox or traditional as far as like bands go, or in our scene, you get and you jam with like your homies and shit. But I've always kind of been, maybe it's even self-isolating, but I really feel like I'll find myself in positions where I don't know how to articulate what I'm trying to say or feel or hear. So I had to learn how to play as many instruments as I could to represent that. So I'll typically just, it could be a thought that I'm like, all right, how does that sound in melody? Or it's like a riff and I'll just like play that. I don't have a real process unless I'm going in with people that do.
Right.
Like I can adjust to whatever process, but for me, it's really whatever. And it is my time because I spent so much time, when I started Fever, I was doing fucking sessions with people that do like this. Like
which is like dude, it's a different world.
It's a different world.
It's like a different, coming from like especially dude,
totally.
Like, was that had to have been?
It was jarring. Yeah. Like it was just crazy, because I'm like sitting there like thinking about like all this shit and being like, oh, how do I? And they're like, all right, go hit the thing. And to be honest, what I did, to John Feldman and Travis Barker's credit, like they really did show me that I had that in me too. So, and it did speak to my ADHD where I was like able to just go like 10 different versions of me on the mic in 10 minutes, or not even in like 5 minutes, so that was cool. But it was I think the best part about it was understanding how to integrate both practices into who I am. So now I can write for other bands or even write for television or film. And if there's a deadline, I'll get it done. And I won't have to believe that every single moment, I don't have to be precious about everything the way I used to be.
Right.
And in doing so, I can bring that attitude into my most precious work and understand that I've been getting in the way. Like, so me believing something is almost egoic, right? Me believing that I am the manifested, piece of this work is wrong. I was in the way of the work. And so now I get to get out the way and be like, what do you want to say? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll just be the instrument.
Hey, same place.
You know?
The same kind of pretty much the same spot.
You feel me?
You can spend fucking 3 days doing something that just absolutely doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So say it could sound great.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get so the thing is you're absolutely right. I didn't want to interject, but earlier when we were talking about like, you know, you're with all these people that are at whatever status or level of their craft or career, and then you're where you are. And I'm thinking to myself, like, objectively, sure, whatever. We've got theory. We've got, I guess we've got some sort of like audible hierarchy that we look at musicians on, whatever the fuck we want to call it. But I believe that it's how you feel and how you make people feel, or how I think, which is even more of a talent, is how you get them to feel whatever they want to feel through your feelings. That to me is the most incredible thing.
It was a cool thing because there was on a thing that had one note. Right. And so like me and this dude kept having to find
That's amazing.
the note that they were at, and you can only move up like a semi, like a little bit with what they're doing. So it was really cool because like that little tiny little thing that it did made big difference.
I love that.
Anyway, we're talking about Glassjaw, which I'm gonna make. You're gonna have to lead this, dude. In a big way, because like I like Glassjaw.
Yeah.
It was like one of those bands that all of my friends loved.
Yeah.
They were bigger than me. They were liked to fight, and,
it was too hardcore for you,
which I loved. I was look at me, bro. I'm not, I can't so I loved being with, but there was a piece of hardcore that like I couldn't identify with because I couldn't physically like do it.
Dude, that's a really fascinating point to make, because I feel that same way in another way. Me is phenotypically still physical, right? But just like looking the way especially when I was younger, like I couldn't do this with my hair when I was listening to hardcore back in the day. You know what I'm saying? My shit was like this, and all my homies were black and brown.
Good, by the way.
Thanks, bro. I did a little, little
thing.
It
looks nice.
Yeah. But yeah, man, like I really feel that, and that actually is why Glassjaw spoke to me. Is because when Daryl said, I remember this because I used to watch like their AOL sessions. You remember that back in the day?
Yeah.
I watched one of their AOL sessions, and he was talking about Tori Amos, and he called Glassjaw a hardcore band, and I didn't even consider them a hardcore band. So when he said that, I was like, oh, this is in here. Like he's singing, but he's also screaming, but it's also like, it's kind of like funky, but then it's hard. So to me, he really did offer me this malleable lump of art that you can call whatever you want. When he said that, I was like, oh, okay. So like Let Live's a hardcore band, kind of, and Da-Da-Da's a hardcore band, kind of, and there's
It's really, that's a funny thing to say. It's like Let Live is a hardcore band, kind of.
Yeah.
And like that, like, because that is kind of how I felt about it.
Yeah.
It's wild because I remember when we first started Emo Night, by the way, like it was like, you were one of the first people that we really met. And from the moment I met you, you've been 100% with us, and it's just been like a wonderful journey with you. And it was the first time I feel like my friends back home were like, oh fuck, like, oh, like this guy is like,
that's
that. It was like that was like
some legitimacy.
Yeah, it was
sweet.
Like it was Let Live.
That's
Jason
sweet.
from Let Live was
Thank
like the first time that these kids that like I grew up like idolizing were like, oh, like you have legitimacy.
The kids
now.
who listened to Glassjaw that you felt a little bit disconnected from. They were like, all right,
a little bit.
Real.
It was the thing that I didn't need them to be like,
sure.
But I was like, that feels good for them to be like, all right, you know what I mean? So that was like, you were the first person that like kind of checkmarked that thing off for me. But yeah, no, Let Live, kind of hardcore band, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. Like, kind of. You know, that when I got that album, Everything You Ever Want to Know About Silence, it really did open a path for me. Like there was so many comparisons, Let Live to Glassjaw, and I would never, and to this day, I'll be like, yup. Like, yeah, dude, because truly to me, everything about that band, especially at the time, was all but perfect. You know, it was heavy, it was melodic, it was emotional, it was aesthetically fucking cool, and it also, you know, it was so unique.
Dude, the branding is unreal.
It's unbelievable.
It's so cool. I remember I can like remember the first time I saw a Glassjaw hoodie, and I was like, that is fucking cool. And I didn't even know what it was.
It's exactly right.
I just like was like, that's sick.
And that's what it is, right? I mean, y'all know, like that is like branding. It's like the holy grail. You're like, if someone just looks at it and wants to know, you win, you know? And I think that band, every move they made was their own. And so they paved a lane. And so any sort of like comparisons or for fans of, or, you know, like I'll be like, yeah, for fans of, sure. But like there'll never be another Glassjaw. And so I remember most of my career in Let Live being like, all right, how do I like take what I learned from Glassjaw and create my own lane? Because that to me was the most important and most impressive thing about the band. Like, incredible musicians and the various lineups. Like I'm such a fan of them, and then works that they did on the side or before. Like I'm just a massive fan of everybody in that or involved in that project, from band to producers to the team. Like I know their team now. It's like,
was that like the band where you're like, you felt cool? They're like, I feel fuck.
Well, you got to work with Justin a little bit, right?
I did.
Yeah.
It was like the craziest thing ever.
What did you guys do?
We did a bunch of music, and, you know, I haven't said this like publicly, but I think, you know, there were some wires crossed, and, you know, my old team dealing with shit. And, you know, for anybody that does not know in music, like it is still for a lot of people a business. And Justin Beck is a artist. Like this motherfucker was like, he was like calling me and talking me through like why I was saying shit. And then I went and lived with this, or I went and stayed in Long Island for like, what was it, like 3 weeks or something, and just got to be at this fool's house. I'm meeting this, I'm out to dinner with this girls, like meeting his wife. I'm like, this is crazy. Like 16, 15-year-old me is bugged the fuck out, trying to keep it cool. But I can tell you this, despite like that, the music hasn't, well, actually that song Ready Rock from Fever, so we did it for Fever. That song came out and it's fucking cool, but we've got like a whole, fuck it, right? We're here.
Yeah.
You know?
Look.
We got a whole ass album, dude. Like a whole ass album that is fucking fire. And you know, I don't know if he'll ever hear this. I should call this nigga. I've been meaning to call him.
You should. It's like, okay, keep going.
You know,
I like it. Makes me excited.
You know what I'm saying? Like the thing is he is everything I wanted him to be. Like straight up. I went there, and you never, you know, they say don't meet your whatever. I was like, oh, you're the guy. Like you are what I want. And from the way he plays guitar to the way he listens to music outside of the music we're making to bring it back into everything was just like, this is perfect. So we did a whole album for Fever. Him, myself, and Thomas Pridgeon, my drummer for Fever. Yeah, so it's crazy. Like it's fucking crazy. And I need to just figure out, there's like logistics, and I was in a separate distribution deal at the time, and da-da-da-da.
Love that. Love all that stuff.
You know
all
what
the
I'm
stuff.
saying?
Yeah, all the stuff that you're like, I want to be in a band.
You feel me?
And then
I made good art, and then it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's the couldn't be the worst feeling. It's gotta be the shittiest to know that you're just like sitting on stuff, and then you have people being like, you can't do that, and you're like, I can't do something that it's gotta be a fucking nightmare.
And there's just levels to it, right? Like again, on my my contemplative practice shit, may everyone be well. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, I bless all y'all for real. But goddamn, like y'all getting in the way of some good shit, you know? So it's like there was all these levels to it, and I have spent so much of my life being whatever you want to call it, but like very much a people pleaser, like for so long being like, and sort of at odds with the reality of who I am as a very, rebellious and resistant person at the same time, and quite fucking stubborn, So I have this duality of me. And I'm like, all right, how do we just, okay, make it work, whatever. They're getting involved. Okay, this person's involved. That's fine, make it work. And then I'm giving pieces out to everybody or whatever. I'm trying to make concessions for everyone I can. And at the end of the day, I'm left with just being like, well, now this person's mad at this person. Now you got to deal with it.
What does he think? What does he want?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. Like everything was straight. And then I was trying to finish up a track and it was just, again, more people were getting involved, right? It was, dude, let's keep it real because we here. Like, bro, it was fucking me, Justin Beck, Thomas Pridgeon, and one of Kendrick Lamar's production teams making an album. Like, straight up, like, that's what we were doing. And it was fucking sick. It was so sick, but because of it, there's so many people involved, right? And me, at the end of the day, to be real, like, I'll be sleeping under a fucking bridge in a box as long as I can, make sure my kids are eating and my music is out. Like, I'm good otherwise, right? So everybody's like, well, people have different needs, desires, wants, which is fine. But what I learned through this process and just through music is it's not the same thing for all of us. And I have to be okay with that. Fuck all this other like, well, fuck them and this and that. Nah, it's like, I just need to be okay with that and then figure it out. For me, if that's what's going to happen, then fuck it. Like, how are you going to figure this out? So through that process, I was like, look, the reality is I need this shit out now, blah, 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 blah. And if it's not going to happen now, because I'm feeling this, and to be super real, there was a bunch of shit going on. Obviously, the world was reminded of our struggles, in Palestine, in Gaza, and versus Israel, and now we're seeing in Syria, Iran. Like, all these things were just fucking not where they happening. They've been happening, but they were coming back to the surface for a lot of popular culture. I was like, I need this out now. Like, what I'm saying has to be heard now. Right. And because I didn't see the same, not in Justin was amazing, but just other folks involved, because I didn't see the same urgency, fervor, or real like care for this thing that I think is just so important. I said, you know what, this ain't it. Like, this ain't it. So give whoever needs money. I'm done. I'm not gonna do this. And so, like, I let my team, my previous team, I let them deal with it, and I just don't think it was handled properly. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Do you ever think about like what would be the repercussions of like just putting on SoundCloud,
bro? Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, like, yes, yes, and I think to myself, like, fuck it. The only thing with something like that was just because Justin was involved, so I want to respect how he wants it released. But otherwise, that's why I'm back on my shit. Like, I'm just like, fuck it. You know what I mean?
Dude, it's, I feel like that's accidentally, you could send it to me and I could accidentally upload it. Yep. And then like, who, they can't get mad at you.
But I feel like that's so like core to like who you are. I feel like every time that, I don't know, we've known each other now for like 12 years and I've seen the different evolutions of Jason Butler and your various projects and like what you've done. And I feel like it always comes back to like, fuck it, I'm just going to do it myself. And like, I'm going to do it my way. And like, that's just how it's got to be. Yeah. And I feel like there's a lot of similarities kind of to Glassjaw's ethos. So it's no surprise to me that you and Justin hit it off, because like they were off record labels more than they were on labels. They were like off management more than they were on management.
Yeah. I learned a lot from him. He's a brilliant man. Like, again, to be so 100, like, I don't even know how this fool feels about me no more, but he was like one of my quickest mentors. And he don't even know it like that. But like, I was asking him so many questions about this album, Warship, about the fucking coloring book EPs. I was asking about like when, where, who, what kind of fucking snare we're using, what size was the room, how did you, when you left Roadrunner, like who was there? Because I know somebody.
Was he stoked to talk about it?
Yeah, he was down.
Like, was he like, because I think it's, really telling when somebody's like and they know those like, those small things.
Well, you got to let us in now. You got to let the listeners in. What did he tell you about this record?
He was just explaining to me how they were just a hardcore band from Long Island, and they were just like, they had switched. I think he started playing drums in the band in Glassjaw. Yeah, and then they were him and Todd were in another band, like Sons of Abraham, and then they met Daryl, and I think they were like, I think he told me, yeah, like this kid's got a good voice, but I don't even think he knew he could sing like that. So what he explained to me, or how I took it, was this thing was almost destined, fated. They just made this band just to do it. Straight edge kids from Long Island. They did an EP with Don Fury, who's like legendary in that space in hardcore, and it gained some traction. And they got I think Deftones took them out after that album, and
they did.
Russ Robinson,
yeah,
and
they did. And like it was, I didn't remember that. I went back and listened to this, and the guys that are doing podcasts on this album tend to be like not the most awesome guys to listen. Like, let's just be real. You know what I mean? Like, not the most intriguing guys to listen to.
Sure.
God bless them.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, God bless them. Yeah. But it was just like, bro, I was. It's like a very much like. And I didn't know that, but I did. I learned some of those things, and then I went back and I listened to the album a bunch, and I was like, damn, I wonder what Deftones saw in this.
Totally.
But at the time, I forget that like Deftones, they weren't as Deftones as they are now.
Totally. Like Adrenaline and Around the Fur.
Yeah.
Like I say, Adrenaline is like a whole different type of band, aside from Chino going like on some songs. Like it's like heavy and like almost like crate sounding amps or like 5150s. You know what I mean?
Dude,
like
it was Deftones was a band that I have always liked, and I've never wavered on it.
Same,
it was like one of those things. I was like, I've always liked Deftones, no matter what iteration of Deftones I get. I kind of always like. I kind of always like the Deftones.
Yeah, same. And again, like just a quick fucking tangential moment. The Chino is actually the reason, I would say, aside from Michael J. Fox as Marty McFly in Back to the Future playing at the Champion of the Sea Dance, I think the Chino is like the reason I play like rock music. I saw him accidentally because my dad knew the promoter for Warped Tour in 1997. I was a kid. I was playing soccer. I was playing club soccer, trying to get out the hood and shit. So I was like traveling around, and my dad's like, "Oh, you can do this, and you can go to college, whatever." And he takes me out to Northridge and to the Velodrome, and it's one of the first 3 Warped Tours, I think. I don't remember when it started, but it was around that time. And we meet my dad's manager, who's a promoter or something for the fucking Warped Tour, and he's like, "Do you want to see some music?" I said, "Sure." I'm in my shorts and soccer cleats and shit. And we walk in, and I'm feeling hell out of place, but I am intrigued, and I'm looking, and I look over to a stage, and there's a gentleman on top of this, the speaker stacks with like pulled up tube socks and some long ass dickies and some bleach, shaved head, and I'm like, damn, that shit look crazy. And mind you, I was listening to like the Lion King soundtrack and like Soul for Real at the time. As we do, bro. Yeah, I was listening to whatever my parents put on in the car. I was listening to Les Mis. Meatloaf. My
parents put on the Les Mis soundtrack, and I was like, this is crazy. Yeah, I was like, the Les Mis soundtrack is nuts.
Sick. Yeah. But I remember that, and then my dad was like, "Oh, watch this." My dad's in music, so he's like, he understands that people are gonna jump off shit, I guess, and he tells me to just take a look, and then this motherfucker jumps off and into the crowd, and I was like, "Oh, that's it. Like, I'm gonna do that."
This is why you're jumping off shit.
Swear to God. I looked at him, I said, "Oh, so it's like skateboarding, but like with a microphone."
Sick.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, so that was, so Deftones has been, like, I had Deftones before I had Glassjaw.
Just a little aside, like, we kind of had a tiny little part in Warped Tour, doing its thing.
Yeah.
And we go into the first one in DC? Mm-hmm. It was the first one. Mm-hmm. And the first thing we see, walk past, first thing I hear is Fever. I look and it's fucking, you're climbing on and I was like, oh, we're so back. Like, I was just like, it was just the first thing I knew. It was just a really like telling.
I love that.
A telling that the first shit I hear, the first crowd is like insane. And I look and I was like, you're on some shit.
Yeah, that shit
and I was
fun.
like, absolutely. I was like, And then from that moment on, I was like, it's really, it's on.
Yeah.
And it was like the moment that sort of solidified that this fear that it wouldn't be what it was.
Right.
And so it was like a very big check. Like, you made it you know, you kind of completed that circle.
Yeah.
For me being like,
That's
yeah,
cool.
no, this is like, that's great. So,
That's cool.
So
that's
that was
just
your
a little
entry
aside.
to Chino
Yeah.
and Deftones.
Yeah.
How did you find Glassjaw?
My bass player in Let Live, when I was in 10th grade. Yeah, it was 10th grade, and we just started Let Live. Was it 10th grade or 11th grade? It just started Let Live, and I was in a youth and government program, so it was a mock legislature in court. And we had advisors, people older than us, but we had one who was the youngest advisor who just had graduated high school and was into, he's just into music. Not even necessarily hardcore, orthodox hardcore. Actually didn't know shit about like orthodox hardcore, but he was into punk and he was into industrial and he was into like that kind of shit.
That rocks.
Yeah,
he sounds awesome.
He's the shit. And he was brilliant. And he is brilliant. He's still one of our closest friends to this day. He's brilliant. He saw that me and a handful of us in the program were into alternative music, and he would start just talking to us about it, right? And then it was, you weren't allowed to fraternize outside of the program with advisors, but I was like, we need a bass player. And I knew he'd play bass. He's like, I can't. I'm like, come on, dude. Like, you're punk. Like, fuck it. Fuck this government program. Fuck this government program. Be my fucking band.
Yeah.
Sure enough, he did. Like, we had to keep it quiet for a while. But yeah, he was in the band, and he started showing me shit. Like, bro, he showed me all this weird shit, like Vemskut and like all this weird industrial shit. But then he was like, all right, I think you're gonna like this band Glassjaw, because he had like patches or like pins and shit from Glassjaw, and I was like, and then I don't know if I'm gonna like this. And a lot of my friends from the town over, El Segundo, they were like, that was the hardcore town. It was that it started in El Segundo, it moved into Hermosa and Manhattan, Redondo, like they were. But that's where I got hardcore from. I was into punk, like I didn't really know hardcore like that. And he was like, they're a hardcore band. He's like, I listen to hardcore. I listen to Glassjaw. I was like, okay. And these kids in El Segundo were like, fuck that. That's not fucking hardcore. Yeah. And so I'm like, damn, like a kid from Inglewood trying to break into the scene, already in some kind of weird band that isn't hardcore, isn't punk, I was like, oh, fuck, like, can I admit that I like love this, And I just started listening. He gave me everything. He gave me the Everything You Ever Want to Know About Science album. And I immediately, like, I actually don't know if there's another album outside of like hip hop and R&B, but in this space, I don't know if there's another album that has hit me the way that album did. Like first listen. Yeah. From when Pretty Lush opens that, dude, literally the snare hitting after that fucking that riff, like that, something in me, like the wolves howling. It was like primal. The way he sang, the way they were playing, it was like the perfect blend of feeling, accuracy, but also it was like loose enough. It was just the realest thing I think I'd ever heard, especially at the time, right? They were surrounded by, even peripherally, right? It's like I remember I was into like Misery Signals, and I was getting into like BT Bam, like this really proficient
mathy stuff.
Yeah, just like super quantized, that like, and then they reminded me of who I was.
It's really cool. You said loose is a really great way to describe that album.
And it was like perfect. Like they reminded me that, like, yo, you're not that nigga. Like you're not the BT Bam guy. You're not. Like you can like it, but that's not you. You can like Misery. I love Misery Signals. I do their previous band, fucking 7 Inch. Love it. But that's not you, bro. Like you're not. I was learning how to sweep on my guitar. I'm like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just not. That's just not.
It's cool to learn the skill, but you don't need to like make that your art.
I never used it. Like I never used it. It just wasn't for me. But it really did. It sonically and in essence, it offered me an opportunity to look at who I am in this space. You're that. Like you're this dude who is trying to emotionally regulate as a young teen, and you need a space to let it out where it can be uncomfortable and considered like over the top. You need a space to be that, because that's kind of who you are right now. And so it really sort of opened that up for me. And then, the first track was Pretty Lush is like one of the greatest opening tracks of all time.
Yeah, well, you should like like you said, you're just like the snare hits and you don't know where it's going to, and that's where it goes. It's like,
Exactly.
it's a really like, I didn't,
absolutely.
you know,
But they also look. We're gonna get in like deep, like kind of nerdy with it. So it's like they do. They're like on the one. Sorry, they're on the downbeat in the bridge, and then they switch to the upbeat on. And it's just like little things like that where you go, right, like this doesn't have to be this like this thought out thing. Just feel it, right? And that it just felt like they were jamming. But really well, you know, and so that song, that man, Christian Johansson, love you, bro, thank you. He showed me Glassjaw, and I actually low key liked that my homies from the hardcore town like didn't like it. You know, I was like,
no, it's like this is a me thing.
This is exactly, and that to me that's punk. Like that's alternative music. Like is just being like, all right, well, this is ours. Like and we're gonna love this even harder because there's insufficient love in this side. Like we're gonna give it even more over here, you know. So that was like my introduction to Glassjaw was through him. Yeah,
it's kind of the way I felt about like Refused when I heard Refused.
Ooh, yeah.
That's like that, like from the like first thing. I was like, oh. Yeah.
So you mentioned something that I think is really interesting that we need to touch on this album because you said like it made you realize that there was a place for you to like let it out, let out the aggression, let out whatever you're feeling. And it can be over the top. And I think, you know, this album has faced a lot of backlash, I think, in recent years because of like the lyrical content.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. I think, you know, Daryl has come out and been like, yeah, that was kind of shitty. You know,
I shouldn't like a whole apology tour about it, which
stuff.
I was like, I am.
Well, okay.
Okay, sorry.
No, I love it. Let's go. Like, I love this.
I was like, I don't think you should. Like, dude, you didn't. Whatever.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something to consider now because it's like art is supposed to be, I think, or at least in, you know, some people's eyes, it's supposed to be like a safe space. It is an outlet for people. You should be able to say whatever the fuck you want, regardless. But like, what kind of, I don't know, like what kind of guardrails should be on it, if any? And, you know, why is he apologizing now? Like, I just wanted to kind of open the dialogue about it because it's like, he did go out and do the apology tour, as you guys said, and like, should he have done it? I don't know. You know, it was art coming from an authentic place for him when he was a teenager, but yeah, it was extremely aggressive and violent against women.
The misogynist. Yeah, I mean,
I don't think art should be safe. Is my thing. It's because it's art. It's art. But if that's what it is, and it doesn't like trickle over into real real
like movies.
It's like, why are we allowed to just see that? Like, why? It's the same reason why I have a fucking problem with it's. We've heard this so many times. Like, we grew up on like being okay with seeing people like getting blown up, and but your parents would like cover your eyes when like there was like a clad, woman. It's like, why is that okay and that's not okay? Like, where have we placed our like shit on like what is and isn't okay if it's not real?
Yeah. I guess
I love that.
I guess it would be different if like Daryl had like done some fucked up
which
shit.
you didn't. And like, that's like, that is the thing. It's like, say whatever the fuck you want.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, for me.
And so I think the apology tour is bullshit in my opinion. And I think that it was like, you know, whatever, if I can read some lady, it's just like, it was that time where everybody was getting mad at everything. And I understand his reception to not wanting to hurt people or offend people, but it's like, you can't, like, you were a certain age when you did this. That's how you felt at the time. None of it trickled into real life. You can be like, yeah, dude, I wouldn't have written those now. Like,
right.
And that's okay. Like, that's an okay thing. Do you think that this, like, the people that are fucking bugging about this, like, are the same people that they were?
Right. Oh, dude.
So it's like,
that's a whole, yes.
And so it's just like art in itself is like in a whole, the whole thing is like, this was in theory is just art, and that's nothing more.
Yeah, I can absolutely like appreciate and really like, I mean, I can even utilize that that idea, right? In my own shit, right? Be like, wow, this is what I feel, especially live. I think for me with that, great question, by the way, TJ. Like, I think it's like this, man. Like, just know that there's consequences. And don't be surprised when you're hit with the consequence, right? Like, that's it. Like, when I go out and do my shit or talk my shit, there's gonna be consequences, you know, and I'm not surprised by it. I'm also not offended. I think that that's the problem, is I think that we feel as though we almost like shouldn't hear what people have to say. Like, you put it out there, you know what I mean? Like, you put it out there, and the way that this world works is it's gonna reverberate, and it may bounce back. You know, someone may have something to say. And so for me, with Glassjaw and everything he said, I would never say it. Like, I would never say that, but I definitely also wouldn't never say a lot of the shit I have said in the past and shit I've said on albums. Like, for example, like being mixed, and back in the day, it was like pretty obvious. Like I said, my hair was like this, and I was in my tall tees, and I was in the hood. Like, so it was like environmentally, you know, relatively, it was like easy for me to remember that I am black. But then I go out into our world, you know, the scene, and I just bring the hood me with me. So I'm like, oh yeah, nigga, like, and I'm doing this with my hair, and I'm like, it's just like, I just look different. And so now the level of offense in something that I felt comfortable with environmentally is changed. That Overton window has now shifted because I'm out in Seattle. And they like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're like, you can't say that. You know what I mean?
Funny.
You feel me? Like, and I'm like, damn, like, I can't, you know? Yeah. And so learning that over time was really interesting, and finding a way to be authentic to who I was and how I felt, but understanding that there is a way to present your feelings in a space that it will be received, you know? That's one way to go about it. But to Morgan's point, like, at the end of the day, and I know people will not like to hear this or whatever, but it is art. Like, plenty of people that you motherfuckers, like you who, you know, tout and laud, and like, you don't know. You don't know. That motherfucker might be a terrible person, or you do know that motherfucker is a terrible person, and you still fuck with the art. You may say you don't. You may not stream it, but or whatever the fuck, you know, and that's fine. I believe that, like, the dollar is one of our strongest votes. But I think my point is understanding art as a vehicle rather than like this crystallized, immovable, and unchangeable piece of ourselves or community or culture. It changes over time. It's always going to change. And for him to say what he said, like, again, I wouldn't have said, I grew up with my mama. Like, I would never say those words, but I also fucking felt it. Like, I wouldn't call somebody that, but I fucking remember feeling like this woman is killing me, you know, like, and I think it was the feeling that I really connected with, not the words. I'm not excusing it, but I'm saying that there are ways to communicate, and once we get down to the core of that, we could then, at the time, we probably could have we can have better conversations. Be like, yo, I don't like the way you said that, but I feel you. So how do we, you know? And I think that's a larger conversation. The art. It's
a big one. It's like, that's a really, and I think it's a very interesting conversation. I could talk about it all day.
I do too.
I really could talk about this shit all day, because it's like, also it's like, you know, you just take one step outside, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you have real things, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, here's a potentially, for lack of better terms, harmless audio medium that is, and then you take one step into the real world and you're dealt with real things. And so where we choose to feel angry and get upset about, and where we choose to like put our efforts into, you know, look, we also don't know he might have needed to do that on that album in order to not do some things, right? And but we don't know. Right?
We don't know.
Because we are not him.
Yeah,
and so we can just take it for what it is. And it's my choice to take it for art. And
do you think that like lack of art like this nowadays is contributing to like society being worse, or like people doing worse shit?
I love you. I love this. I love where we're going with this. I don't know. I don't know. But what I can say, and what I do believe very, very, very strongly, is that the lack of space to explore art, full stop, is making this place worse, without a doubt. And we are a part of that. I'm a part of that.
Yeah.
Our scene is a part of that.
Yeah.
We're all a part of it.
Yeah.
And it's not even just, please, like, I'm not just saying like this like woke warrior shit. Like, it's really not about that. Like, whatever. Obviously, I live there. It's actually, to me, it's the choices we're making. It's the choices we're making to condone behavior that is condemning or foreclosing the opportunity, right? So it's like, you know, I know this is bullshit or wrong, but it is how it is. So like, or it's like seeing someone talking crazy about someone and actually having where you may have a good perspective that you could offer to the conversation, but being scared to insert that perspective because the rest of our scene is saying one thing and we're echoing each other. And, you know, like, to me, at the end of the day, I just don't think it's healthy, and I actually think it's ironically damaging, and it's almost like neutering our power as a scene. Like, I think we're actually doing a lot of harm to ourselves and each other when we just talk about the same shit over and over, you know?
So I sent this, I'll send you this video, but I sent this video to TJ. He's way better at explaining it to me. It was the Eminem video.
Yeah, it was, I think we've talked about it on the pod a couple of times, so sorry to the listeners, but basically the summary is like an exploration of like the lack of an Eminem in popular culture is leading to more like incel behavior.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
and it was a black lady like did this like fucking YouTube video, and she was like, we needed Eminem.
Wow.
Because we needed people to say this shit.
Because like what, like it or not, like that sort of energy, that aggression, that like stuff does exist within teen boys and like within culture, and there's nowhere for it to go. There's nowhere for them to relate to. So then they just go on fucking 4chan and Reddit, and they end up radicalized and crazy.
Wow. Yeah.
It was an incredible perspective. It was like an absolutely incredible perspective.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Emo night, right? Like we're grown-ups and we have lives that are typically grown up and outside of those walls. And then we go in and we do shit that we wouldn't do anywhere else. We say things, we act in ways, we dance in ways, we feel ways that we won't do anywhere else. That's like what this is. That's what art is. It's what these spaces are. And I think that that's an incredible, I mean, what makes that any different than when I used to go to shows, and me and my dad had a bad relationship. He taught me discipline through physical means. So I would show up and just whoop anyone's ass that wanted it. Like, or get my ass beat. But like, I was out there physically dealing with my emotional problems. Right. And so I found a place in hardcore. Oh, you mean you could walk around and just punch motherfuckers in the face? Like,
and that's why I, you know.
Yeah.
That's why I watched from the back.
Fair.
That's why I watched from the back.
Fair. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh, this is like an agreement. This is a termed contract. Like, fuck it. This is much like, well, not much like, but you know, for example, I did like jujitsu and boxing and shit. I did all these physical things that I feel like I needed in order to explore that part of me through physical means. Now, as an I guess, an older adult with kids, I now am able to understand the residual effects of men like me and boys like me and fathers like my father. Understand that, I can observe that, and I can adjust and navigate the direction I put my children in. And I can talk to them in ways that don't require my hands or any sort of physical, positioning of them towards where I want them to be, metaphorically, of course. But I guess physically too. And
yeah, you say go find an album.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what I'm saying?
Go do that.
Go do that. And I feel it in me, bro. Like, let's just like, this is let's just keep it for any parents, particularly fathers watching this. You know, I feel my dad in me. I felt my dad in me when I fucking picked up that Glassjaw album. Like the parts of my dad that I don't necessarily want to carry with me. And I also felt, you know, as I get older, I feel parts of my dad in understanding that he was doing his fucking best. And so watching a human that I am biologically linked to try their best and not understand that as a child, not understand that he's a black man from you know, who is post segregation in the Midwest trying to make it in music. His idea is like, if you slip up, you go to jail, you're going to get shot, you're going to get beat the fuck up, you're going to, we on welfare. Like his mindset was this, right? So he's trying to push me in a direction to make the best choices, the best way, the way he knows how. I then get the effects. I become like a little more physically like bellicose. I'm like, all right, let me get this out. I find hardcore. I see everybody doing the thing, and that's okay. But if I take that into the classroom or I take that into my like, it doesn't work. So the long point I'm trying to make, while trying to, you know, relate it to how we grow up and in society, is that we need these spaces to then learn what we're gonna do next. And I now meditate every day for, you know, 20 minutes to an hour, depending on what, you know, I do these like rituals. I'm not physically adjusting myself or getting I misidentify my sadness with anger as much. And I think that's because I had mistakes that I made. Don't get it twisted. This whole shit right here was broken. Like you can break your face. You can literally break the bones in your face. Like someone broke the entire front of my face. My teeth are all fucked. Like I have fake teeth that, you know, that was from me thinking that I'm going to go out tonight and I'm going to be the baddest motherfucker there because I listened to this song and they're playing this song and it put me in position. And then someone said, "Oh, you the baddest motherfucker here?" And humbled me.
Where was that at?
It was at Soma in San Diego, the Little Room. I was Comeback Kid, This Is Hell, someone else. And This Is Hell was playing and I loved the Sundowning was like my shit. And yeah, man, I got caught up with somebody and I'm not from there. It was me and my one homie and I'm trying somebody and yeah, I felt like pretty good about it. And then he had homies and they just like kept me still and he just came and, yo, whoever you were, because it put me to sleep.
Sure.
Like, they bounced. Like I woke up and was like, whoa. So whoever you were, that was a good hit. You fucked my shit up.
I've only been knocked out one time. And it wasn't like, you know, my one of my ex-girlfriends was mouthing off at like something and then, you know, I got, you know, I was like, hey, I'm not saying anything. And then a guy just, you know, like some guy came up, hit me. I woke up and I like see there's like, it was like you know, it was like really like a Looney Tunesy where I see like just people jumping over me and fighting and that type shit. Yeah, man. And I was like, I just slowly get the fuck out of here. Yeah. But yeah, no, that was the one time that I've ever been knocked out.
I mean, I think that, you know, back to you know, the question is like the larger question. I don't know. I do find these things that piece that you just brought up, the M&Ms, the Glassjaws, the fucking Dre's, all of NWA, like that whole shit. You know, where would we be without it? That may be sort of a taboo thing to say now because I know we are hyper aware of our missteps in culture. Like, and that's great. I think that we should be. But I do find it fascinating and a bit concerning that we're not placing awareness on the what next. You know, like okay, now what? Like, cool. We've, these words are so like true. Like we've canceled, we've condemned, we've fired, all these things. That's great. But you were talking about incels. I know those motherfuckers. Like I went to school with those motherfuckers. Yeah. And to me, man, like, I don't know. I just think that if we're really going to be alternative as a scene or a culture, it's like, how do we radically accept things in people? How do we radically accept ourselves in order to then move aside all the bullshit that gets in the way of compassion and empathy? Like, how do we do that? That to me is, especially with all this shit I've been doing with like the fever stuff and just getting really, you know, really diving into my radical bag. Like, it's like, I don't know, man. I think the most radical thing we can do is listen and try to be happy in a cold world and try to find those moments. And I know that this is CD burner, so we talking about Glassjaw. That space that I got in everything you ever want to know about silence. Like I was really sick through high school towards the end. I had some shit going on, and he was, he has Crohn's, and like everything just really spoke to me, right?
Yeah.
But his level of being like, this is how I feel, and I'm going to say everything, whether it's good or bad, relatively, really spoke to me. Really spoke to me. And we're living in a world right now where there's words coming back right now that were not cool about 2 years ago. Like I'm talking,
right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and we there's the ebbs and flows of like the way the world works.
Absolutely.
And I love that. I mean, I think it goes back to like exactly like, what you're saying about your son, like being like, go find the song, go find the fucking song
dude,
that makes you feel angry and sit in that and like find that identity. I think that's really cool.
The thing is this is beautiful. My sons, I've got like a tattoo that says like fuck cops on my side.
Too. I have one too.
Yeah, so my brother.
Literally, where is it?
Mine's right here.
Remind us.
Yeah. See?
Yeah, it's literally
and I have that tattoo, and I kept it, and it's got, anyway, I have the tattoo. My kids saw it. My kids read it. My kids have heard me say fuck. They've right? Words. And the other day, literally right before I got on a plane to come here, my son, my youngest, was like, Dad, you have that tattoo. And we've had this conversation, and immediately it was like Pavlovian. He goes, but you know what? I'm not going to use that word until I understand it. That was my terms of my children. You can say whatever you want as long as you can understand how you're using it, when and why. If I don't have a raised eyebrow, if it doesn't feel like, if it's not like this, like a improper energy in the moment, like go ahead. And they've never, ever, I mean, they're 8 and 5, but seriously, never even tried it. They've never said a bad word.
That's cool.
They've never even thought of it. They don't even do that joking thing. Like, ooh, they don't, because we sat in a car and I said, hey, words are words at the end of the day. It's what you mean. Like, and that obviously as they get older, I'm going to have to explain to them there's associations and connotations and all this. But right now as a child, I say, look, it's just what you mean. And if you don't actually understand the weight of that word, that could be the N word, that could be the F word, that could be the whatever fucking word. If you don't understand all of its context, don't use it. I don't care where you are. I don't care if you're like, that's me with saying nigga. Like when I'm in Seattle, I didn't understand that other black people in Seattle, or fucking when I'm in Detroit, I'm fucking talking my shit with my best friends that are on tour with me that are all black and brown, because that's Let Live was, we were all, we were not white, or I mean, our bass player was white, but like anyway. But me not even understanding, there's a grown man walking around using words that I'm not understanding the context I'm putting them in. So with my children, I say that. And so they were looking at this tattoo, and my youngest son, he's like, but I'm not going to say that. And he's like, and you say it in your songs because it's art. And I was like, yeah. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. And then he can get old enough to understand that you were kind of.
Yeah, I was just talking shit.
Yeah.
But even in that, right, that's an art form, right? To be able to talk shit in a way. It's comedy, right? Mm-hmm. That's comedy. Yeah. And that's what we're seeing it with some of the, who touted as the greats, right? We're seeing it with the Chappelles, and we saw it with the Carlins, and we saw it with the Pryors. Like culture and the way we communicate in language, whether that be through art, whether that be through sex, whether that be through visual, representation, whatever that is, like however we're communicating and sharing and engaging with each other, it's always going to be changing. It's just constantly changing. And I think that the fact that we have not left enough space to have the conversation or to make mistakes is dangerous. That's a dangerous place to be, because while we over here talking all the infight, I've seen it, bro. Like I've seen it. My homies that are like self-proclaimed, like, communists, we're out here arguing about who's taking money from this and what of that, while these motherfuckers are just out here just, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I do. I really do. And that's like why a lot of this stuff was like, I was like, I am very, very, very like art is art type shit. Yeah. Like I really am just like, how much more like real can you and it's also like innocent and also scary and awesome and amazing. It's like that's why I love it, and that's why when it starts getting people start picking it apart and being like, you are this person because of the thing that you made, it like makes us not allow us to do some things, which leads us to school shooters and leads us to fucking violently all this shit, right?
Man.
Like it does that stuff.
Yeah.
And we don't really, we didn't really have, the last couple of years have been like very like safe.
Bro.
And,
God.
that's what I was saying is like you walk outside and it is not safe.
Bro, let's like, look, this has been my MO since the jump, and it's it's gone up and down with how people feel about it, but with me particularly. And to your point again, TJ, like I've always been ready for the repercussions and consequences of my actions. Always. Dude, you can see it. I think there's like videos of me like fucking sweeping the stage. I threw a fucking trash can and I'm like, all right, well, I got to clean that up because I did that. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
or someone wants to get crazy with me. I'm like, first when they start, I'm like, yup, I feel you. Like I do. You're upset and I get it. It's like, all right, so let's have that conversation. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. I just think that there's an onus that we've also omitted, right? Like there's an onus that we've abandoned as artists. It's like, then we get in our ego and we're like, you can't say that. And blah, blah. Like, no, these motherfuckers can say whatever they want.
We can do anything we want.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
As long as we are willing to accept the repercussions of our actions.
That's it.
We can do anything we want.
That's it.
We literally can do anything we want.
And once I know this can be taken so many different ways, but I believe that once we actually liberate ourselves from the fear and trepidation of what the judgment is and just accept the consequence, fuck the judgment. Like the judgment is what it is. I like shit that is weird, and there's probably plenty of things that I do on various levels of my life and experience that are faux pas or disgusting to people. I've seen people literally hide their eyes while I'm on stage. Like, it's fine. I get it. But the thing is I don't fear the judgment and I accept the consequence. And so in doing so, I feel like I'm free. I don't worry about what it is. And I would hope that then can proliferate into the crowd or just the homie next to me. I want people to feel free. And once we start to feel free and understand that we can do anything, it actually makes it much easier to make other choices. Because you're saying we can't do anything. I'm saying we can do anything. Then this incel or this fucking, this weird dark corner of the internet conspiring to do harm to people person feels like that's all they can do. That's the only avenue they feel. So when we start to truly liberate and destroy and dissolve these boundaries, you start to see that maybe this isn't the only way. This fucked up thing isn't the only thing I can do. I've got all these other options. And there's plenty of exogenous forces and structures that
and you certainly have other people to run these things by and these ideas by, right? Like once you break those things down.
It's also almost like, I don't know, I feel like the word consequence is negative, you know? I think it's almost like flipping the word consequence to have almost like a neutral.
I love that.
It's always like, oh, you got to face the consequences. But I think if you think about like your actions are going to have repercussions and reverberations, it's not a negative thing. Like
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I say we're killing it. I said that.
This is the smartest Look, this is the podcast talking about.
Because you can go anywhere. Like
bands.
you can do anything you fucking want to do, and you will face the consequences. But it's not always negative.
Dude, I swear on my children's lives, maybe the last month, 2 months, I taught them about consequences, and I tried to neutralize the connotation. And I've changed it to results. So last couple months, I say my youngest, who's again, he might be a genius. I don't know. He's fucking great. But his brain is operating on this level where he's like, he can make things happen and trigger me and all this. And I'll be like, all right, look, here's the thing. You can do that. And it's been fucking great, dude. It's like an experiment with a little humor.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, bro, you go ahead and do that. You fucking take this baseball and throw it through that window. I'm gonna let you do it. I ain't gonna stop you because what I want you to know is you are autonomous. You are a self-possessed
free
being.
will.
You have free will. Break that motherfucking glass. But I want you to know that I can almost guarantee you that the results of your action you will not like. You will actually like them so much worse than you do like throwing that ball through the window. This is how it's gonna work. But I want you to see. So if you need to do it, go ahead, do it. And he will when I get to his level and I'm not yelling and I'm not putting his amygdala, his lid's not flipped, I'm just like, no, I feel you. I know you're upset. I'd be like, me too. I tell him, I'd be like, I'm upset right now, but you need to do what you need to do. He'll stop and go, and he'll do something else that's some fuck shit, but it's not breaking the glass. Right? So imagine a world where we go, I get it, bro. Like, I get it. And if you need to do this crazy thing, let's at least put you in a safer space or a position to where, like, it's not going to hurt you as bad or someone else at all. If we can find spaces to do that, I think that we would be, and again, that's like some idyllic, fantastical shit. But I get to do it with my kids. I get to do it with my homies, do my homeboys. We was crazy growing up. Crazy. And I'd be like, you go ahead, do it. Like, do the thing. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there with you when it happens. But just know afterwards, we used to say, like, punish in private. You protect in public. So, like, if my homie's got to go crazy, I'm like, fuck. Like, all right. It's like I'm duty bound. Like, all right, pop off. I'm going to be there. Then afterwards, I'm like, you stupid motherfucker. Like, I should beat your ass. Like, you're going to get discipline from me. So it's like, trying to understand how do we work with this human nature at the end of the day, right? Like, that's really, we're animals, bro. Like, we're upright apes. It's like, we have these things. When I started being honest with myself about how I felt through Glassjaw, through hardcore, through fucking art, I was like, and then people coming up to me being like, me too. Like, me too. And on some fucked up shit. Like me writing crazy let live lyrics, like, oh, I'm never gonna be loved because I'm fucking broken. And like people being like, yeah, me too. And then they get to offload that. They get to have that, like, that pressure release valve. And of course, like, there's plenty of moments where we go too far, or things go in a direction that can be harmful. And we want to try to avoid that and mitigate that as much as possible. But I just don't believe in sterilizing the attempts to feel something. I just don't believe in it. And I could be wrong. That's the thing, is I'm open to being wrong.
Which is what a beautiful thing to actually, I always say it. I love being wrong. Mm-hmm. I really love being wrong because that shows that I don't know everything.
That's right. And I would, oh God, what a sad world to live in.
What if everybody was just like, could be wrong?
Imagine, like, okay, I'll wait this one out.
Yeah.
Let me see how this plays out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it is fascinating. As we come into an era of Epstein files and Trump administrations and destabilizing Venezuela, like, all these things in the world, it is so interesting to think that we could really just pause. Like, if collectively we could just go, is this the best approach? And then we have the lesser of evils conversation, which is also fine. So I go, okay, that's fine. Like, I feel you. You voted this person, or you voted for this, or you have to take this job, or you have to do this for money. Like, I fucking get it. But it's like, then what? Then what? After that, like, you are free to do anything, and you are free to pause and just reflect on what this is. And if we all just took moments like this, I know it sounds whatever, but we would at least get incremental improvement. And over time, my children would see that, and their children could see that. And then maybe we won't go to war for water. And maybe the forever war isn't a lack of media literacy, and we're being lied to across the fucking globe. Like, maybe it isn't we have to. A necessity now is colonizing Mars. Like, we can stay on Earth. Like, all these things, but we are so programmed to believe that this is it. That this is all there is. And I don't even just mean like financially or societally, like that that this is it. You know what I mean? Like,
this is the exact podcast that I want to be doing. Like, this is exactly where I live in.
No, I think this is, we gotta kind of wrap this up, but this has been really fucking awesome. I've really enjoyed doing this podcast.
I knew that it was going to be this. Is the thing. Like, I knew that we would talk about Glassjaw for like 10 minutes.
Well, I think it's important though. Like, Glassjaw is just a vehicle for us to talk about this.
Well, that's it.
Yeah. Glassjaw exists. This album existed for,
exactly. Mm-hmm. And I really believe that.
I do too.
I believe that this is all happening for some reason, whether we designate the reason or it is just abounding, and it is TJ, what you just said is it. Like, to me, that's what all of these CD burner moments are, is like, this catalyzed this conversation, this part of the scene, this piece of art, this argument, this healing moment. You know, at the end of the day, all of it is just a vehicle. All of it. Like, we are just vehicles. And I think that, you know, calibrating our GPSs and navigating a little bit more considerately is necessary. And I think that is going to save us from ourselves. And I intend on doing that. So thank you guys for letting me talk my shit for a little bit.
Man. Thank you so much.
To see you. Thank you so much.
Before we jump, is there anything that you want to talk about? Anything that you want to plug? Anything you're working on?
Yeah, I mean, fuck, man. You know, I think the best way to put it is just art. You know, like, let's just continue the theme. I have let go of a lot of the conventions or the things that I feel like I have to be bound to because I need to make money, because I need to be in a certain position in the industry or seen publicly. I've let that go a lot the past couple of years, and I think that it's opened me up to not only create, but to be a space for other people to come in and collaborate with, which has been really cool. So, I mean, I'm working on 2 albums at the moment right now. I've been talking about a solo thing for I think about a decade now to people, and I think I might do that. We'll see. But really, I want people that need a space, like we just discussed, that need that, and everything you ever want to know about silence space, like it was for me. Like, that's my goal, is I want to be, you know, they call it a producer, a writer, editor, whatever. Like, I just want to be a space for people, is what I've really realized. I'll continue to do my thing, of course, that's inherent, but that's what I want to plug. If you really feel like some shit that we talked about today is something that speaks to you, and you feel like it was only the 3 of us could really speak like that to you, like, there's more of us, and we should probably amplify that and catalyze that. So holla at your boy.
I love it. All right. Thank you so much, Jason.
Thank you, bro.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.